This episode of the Totally Rad Show is brought to you by Netflix. Coming up, we sneak very quietly around the stylized world of Dishonored.
This time of year, getting ready, getting close to the holiday season where all the biggest video games are being released. There sure are a whole bunch of sequels. Every year we get sequel. It's rare that you get a brand new IP coming out to slug it out with the heavy hitters, but that's what we've got. Just last week we got a new game called Dishonored, which is a brand new IP from Bethesda. And this comes from established developers, but it is a brand new idea. It's set in a really interesting steampunk alternate history universe, sort of Victorian steampunk, and you play Corvo, who has been wronged, who has been dishonored, who is in charge of protecting the daughter of the heiress, and you have to discover the secret covert plot and start assassinating dudes.
Yep, picking fools off.
The cool thing about Corvo
is
that
not so sneaky deaky.
He gets himself a Star Brand, TM Marvel Comics, or Star Brand style analog, and he gets superpowers that you can level up through the game, including being able to teleport from place to place and cause rats to attack people or possess creatures and people. All kinds of really cool stuff by collecting runes all around the city. And you're outfitted with pistols and swords and crossbows. It's got, I like to think of it sort of a mashup between BioShock and Deus Ex, because the game has that Deus Ex style options of tackling any objective in a variety of ways. You can do lots of stealth in this game, or you can go in guns blazing and all modes in between. Dan, Dishonored.
Also that it has a very similar world to BioShock and a way of exploring. It all feels, whereas Gears is sort of that template for a lot of third-person action games, it feels like BioShock is definitely the template for this game that different skins are on. That is minimizing as being very reductive because it's a great game. But it just feels so like that's the model, just like that. It's a great game, it's awesome. And it is cool that, I was thinking, as you were saying, but while I was playing, that yeah, now we're gonna get Dishonored 2. We're gonna get next time there's gonna be an E3 where we're checking out Dishonored 3. You know, like it's totally you know it right now. This is the start of a franchise.
Yeah. It does feel like a very confident game. I think that's the one thing I took away from it most, is that as much as it's a new IP, it feels like it owns its identity. It knows exactly what it wants. The universe is very well fleshed out.
Yeah.
In the same way that BioShock was when it landed.
Yeah. I wish I played on the PC. The art style is really cool. Love the steampunk aesthetic, but the graphics on, you know, it's just not as strong as I imagine it was, and from reading about it, that they were really just stellar on a PC. You know,
I thought it looked very good. I mean, it's an Unreal game.
Looked all right. I mean,
the character
textures of
designs
certain
are really
things.
fun.
Yeah, that's art style. I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
All that stuff is so. I was in a masquerade ball, and like people with like shark or whale head mask with string that you would put, like really cool. But so I like that. I really loved all of the options of how to tackle a scenario that I was really engaged strategically in what to do. And you know, one of the things I will say is I wish I knew. I never wanted to do. I only played stealth. I never felt like being a pure combat guy was. Never felt like the game was ever designed for that, and I can't imagine. The combat was fun to use once in a while in my spurts that you have to do when you're playing stealth, but I can't imagine that would sustain if I only was just running and guns blazing. It seems like the levels would be very short, because you would just charge through places and kill people.
Well, but based on your chaos level, it populates the levels with more enemies. So if you're creating a lot of chaos and killing a lot of people, there's more people for you to kill, and I think it becomes a little more difficult.
And I feel like that's telling the game is designed to tell you be more stealth-like.
Yeah.
Not like here's fun
But-
challenges for being all combat.
But you
know what I
can
mean?
you can be stealth-like and murder lots of people, or you can be stealth-like and not murder lots of people.
Right, and I think that's the clear distinction. It's not
Yeah.
like you can play it like a first-person shooter or you can be stealth. It's sort of like you're always going to have to play stealth, but there's penalties for killing too much.
Did you find the stealth to be fun?
Stealth is super fun.
Yeah, which is not always the case for me.
No,
in
and
video games.
I love having the blink power where you could basically teleport places was really cool. I wish that there's an RPG element, there's an upgrade, abilities and powers. None of them are that, after the first level things, which happens very quickly, I hit a point where, unlike other games, my carrot on the stick is I can't wait to see what that ability is.
Yeah.
I can't wait to upgrade that, whatever. I hit a point where it's like I had a ton of things to spend. I was like, I didn't know which one to spend it on. None of them I felt like would actually help me that much. And none of them were like, I wouldn't see something new that was cool. So I just I guess I'll just double down on that one or what have you.
Did you upgrade
and I never
the jump?
needed them. I didn't upgrade jump, but I upgraded blink twice.
Yeah.
And I felt like I don't
No,
need to upgrade jump.
Yeah, I felt that too.
Yeah.
And then I got to a point where I had so much, I was like, I guess I'll upgrade
And
jump.
what did that do?
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome, and
It
because you can land from far
and it gives
too.
you a double jump basically, so you go like, foom, foom. Like a lot of times I didn't use blink as much because I would
Okay.
only use blink for really far traversals.
I just feel like blink is just fine, and we'll.
Did you experiment with like possession and world?
Yeah, I
and
did
all
that.
stuff?
Yeah. So and bend time, which is it's cool, but I felt like all I actually needed to do to win, and I was doing fine winning the level with blink. So I felt like once that's been upgraded, and whatever. So that was a little bit of a bump, and I wasn't like having a blast playing this game, and
Really?
like it's a great experience. It's more challenging than it was fun.
What about the narrative? I feel like the game's narrative is very strong and very fully realized.
It's very pure. The voice acting's a little weird, but the
We got Susan Sarandon. You got.
But you know what? I don't know. Maybe it was side characters. Maybe it wasn't the big actors. But I always play with subtitles so I can understand the plot more. And you can. I feel like I'm not a fan of the acting when it's clearly they're in the room reading the line and putting the emphasis on the more interesting syllable as opposed to actually being the character. They're like, what? Because when I'm reading the subtitles, I'm like, oh, that's what it means. When I hear the guy saying it, he's like, well, the big thing is, because he's reading it on a page as if he's reading to an audience, to kids.
I wonder if that's more of a function
I'm
of you reading it.
Reading it? Well, yeah, and I'm hearing, that's what the
you're hearing it
intent of a
after you're reading
character.
it. Yeah.
But anyway. So
you weren't pulled in by
it
it.
just was, it was cool. It was a very pure story too. It wasn't overly complicated, and a plot like this could become mired in the too politically intriguey episode 1-y, you know.
I thought it did a really good job of
but it was good.
making you relate to the little girl and feeling like
Yeah,
a
I like that.
protector.
I like that.
Yeah.
I just wasn't having a blast. Like for whatever reason, it was always stressful and fun when I made it to the end. But I just wasn't like, I can't wait to do more.
How about
of
you?
those
Did you
things.
have a blast?
Yeah, I had a blast.
Yeah.
I loved this game. This is by far the best stealth. I'm not a huge stealth game
You're
fan.
not even a huge single-player game fan. And this
Not
is
even
pure
a huge
single player.
Yeah, and went all the way through, finished it. It was great. Had a blast. This is the best stealth mechanic that I've ever seen, and not only that, unlike Deus Ex, which was, I think, for me when I played it, the second one.
Human Evolution. Third
Was
one,
that
really.
third one? Yeah. But the one we recently reviewed a year ago or 2 years ago, whatever. Which is, I feel like they always say there's a bunch of different ways to attack it, but really I never felt that. Like I always felt like there was sort of only one way for me to attack it. You know what I mean? Like I can't do this way because I'm horrible at shooting or I don't like these power or whatever. So I only have the option to kind of like sneak around and all that stuff. The other thing is with this, I always felt like I didn't have to, even though I didn't want to alert people, because I could alert people and it wasn't a game over situation where I could get out of things, I could blink away, I could possess them, which was great because once you possess somebody, they go, oh, he disappeared, and everybody goes back to their business.
Yeah.
So I never had that like, oh, I gotta use the dark vision and like see where everybody is and then plot out my movements and all that. So I just kind of went, I just kind of discovered. I would try the rooftops and see if the doors worked and look through the little hole and go, nobody's in there. And I go in, And then if somebody was coming around the corner, I could go, crap, and move around the corner. I didn't have to be like, I've got to strategize. But I found myself being very strategic. And the other thing is, I found things that I know weren't the way that I was supposed to go.
Just a way to go.
A way to go, and that made me so happy. Like, at one point, I like came around this corner, and there were these guys. I was like, shoot, and I just like ran around. I was like, I don't know where to go. It's like I went the wrong way. I'm in this weird alley thing, and I was like, I'm possessing this rat because otherwise I'm gonna get killed by these guys. I possessed the rat, and I look over, and I'm like, I'm going in there. I don't know where it is, and I end up inside the place I was trying to get to.
Yeah.
So it's like.
It's a cool, like, cinematic moment that just happened.
Yeah, and and that's not how I was even planning or attempting to go in. But the other thing that it does great is that I don't feel, a lot of games feel like, oops, I have to go back because I didn't see the thing I was supposed to see outside. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I didn't get to that area that that they wanted me to get to because I went this weird way.
Right.
This game doesn't feel like that at all. It feels like you can experience every facet of the story, every facet of the optional side quests by just going and doing it however you want, and it's so freeing.
What you're saying is the thing what I love most about video
Yeah.
games. The best, for me, the best experience in a video game is when a video game engenders creativity and
Right.
rewards creativity. And this game does that in spades and does it so well. What you're saying is right. You were in a situation where you had to improvise, and the game not only allowed that, but rewarded it, didn't penalize it.
Yeah.
And I found myself constantly doing stuff like that in this game where I was thinking outside the box and coming up with interesting solutions. And the designers have talked a lot about how they watch people play it in playtesting.
Yeah,
and
did shit that they never thought
would have
possible.
guessed
Yeah.
was possible.
And the other reason why, one of the things I was going to say, the reason why I got that feeling was the implementation of the heart and seeing where the hidden items were.
Yes.
Because those are the only items.
Right.
Dude, that's it. You know where they are. If you didn't get those 3 or 2 or 1, then you didn't get the thing that is findable on that level. So a lot of
there's
times,
actually more stuff. There's the shrines that you can find, and
and
which
there's
are much harder to find.
There's paintings and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But really, it's just one of those things where you don't feel like
combos for safes.
Yeah, exact combos for safes, which I think I did almost all of them, because what ends up happening is you go, I'm in this place, I see where I have to go, and then I pull up my heart and I go, ooh, there's a thing up there, I want that because I'm trying to level up my stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'll go, okay, well, I know where I gotta go, and I wanna get that thing, and by figuring out the way to get to that, you
find
then
things.
see the things that you can see. So when you finally are trying to figure out how to get into here, you feel like I've done this.
Yeah.
I've done everything in here. It's
And
so
also,
satisfying.
I reacted exact opposite to that same mechanic, which is
Interesting.
I didn't feel like I first played without getting all the runes. I was just went my objective, and then the level ended, and I was like, oh, I didn't, and I realized how necessary those runes were.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh crap, I didn't get those things. Those aren't just like optional things. Like I needed to have gotten those.
Oh no.
So now it's like, to me, it's not like I can just figure out my way. I'll just end up finding things and whatever. No, I have to literally like make sure I check that, get there, don't miss that, go there, and it becomes less immersive and more like I'm seeing the makings of the game. Like I gotta get that.
I don't
disagree.
mean that going to get them is optional, because I don't think that it's optional.
Yeah.
That's how you progress and become more powerful. What it is how you get there.
But it's
is
kind
up
of
to
labeled
you
as
and-
option. I mean,
No, I think that there's plenty of runes that you will find if you just go to the objectives. There's runes that they place sort of in your path pretty well.
Yeah.
And you can get through the game just leveling up a few things, as you were saying. But those carrots on the stick, I don't know of another game that mixes stealth with exploration as well as this game does. Because in most stealth games, I don't want to explore because I'm scared of being freaking found out.
Yeah.
And this game makes stealth fun to the point where I do like venturing off the beaten path and looking for those things because I'm having such a creative time being stealthy, figuring out different ways in and out.
The other thing is that, boy, it becomes satisfying when you figure something out on your own. Like Tall Boys are a good example. I don't know if you guys got to the Tall Boys, but they're the guys on the
mech.
stilts that shoot you from very far away. And when I was talking to a friend of mine who got to the Tall Boys and was like, they're so hard because you have to like shoot the whale oil thing in the back.
Yeah.
I just tried this once, and it worked so well that I became, Tall Boy's not a problem. Literally, I had the double jump, right? You possess the Tall Boy, walk him into a corner where nobody's around, unpossess him, do the double jump, and stab him in the throat. Most satisfying thing ever.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so great, because I was like, and then I just walk out into the thing and get the next tall boy, walk him into the same murder corner. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, what happened? I just double jump up, hey, what's up, swag? I mean, it was like, and discovering that, because that's not how you're supposed to kill them.
Yeah.
It's just a way that you can kill them, and it worked great for me. And as soon as I locked into that, I was like, tall boys are the bitches.
For me, the star of the show here, as much as the powers are fun, as much as the design of the universe is absolutely engaging and unique and different than everything. It's not a, military shooter number 507.
Yeah.
The star of the show for me is the level design. The level design of this game is so wonderfully
eclectic.
Well, it engenders creativity. It allows for exploration. It allows for dealing with objectives in different ways. And in most games where you can, be non-lethal, it basically just means you choke people instead of stabbing them. And this game, that is the case a lot too. But there are entire gigantic side quests that allow you to sidestep assassination missions, which is so much fun when you stumble upon that and you're like, oh, this guy's giving me the option to not have to kill those people. How cool is that? It's got all the things that I love. It's got save anywhere, which I think should be required for any game like this.
Though I wish there was a hotkey for that, like on a PC. Like I'm sure it is on the PC.
I also wish there was a screen grab of where you save, but that's a whole other issue. It should be.
Yeah.
Well, it's sort of a thumbnail of what level. But
No,
just the
it's a
level.
static.
Yeah.
It's a static image, and it's every time you save on the level, it's the same static image.
No,
so
I know.
All I have is a date and time.
Yeah,
It's like,
of the level. Yeah.
It is so awesome, and I really was wrapped up in the storyline. I think that not enough can be said about how interesting and well written it really is, and how deep and well delivered the story is, because you have books that you can read. You have the heart lets you listen to people's inner thoughts, which is really interesting and fleshes things out. It is a tapestry upon which they can place sequels, and I think will really, the world will expand and be fascinating. I had so much fun figuring out ways to do things and being, and having a real motivation to be non-lethal rather than just like, oh, it's a challenge I could set for myself.
Yeah.
I could, lowering that chaos level had tangible results in the world.
Yeah.
Fantastic game. Couldn't recommend it higher. It looks like it's
Dishonored.
doing very well already.
Hopefully
and hopefully it'll continue to do so.
Yeah. All right, everybody, be sure to stick around. We're going to be answering one of your Twitter questions right after this. But first, we want to thank our sponsor.
Netflix has more than 26 million members. It is the world's
Jeebus.
leading internet subscription service for enjoying movies and TV programs. You can instantly watch thousands of titles on a vast array of devices like your Xbox 360, your PS3, your Wii, your Kindle, your Nook, all your Apple devices. I am now watching instantly a show that I missed when it came out called Undeclared. The early Judd Apatow, Jay Barrett, everyone that is now part of the Judd Apatow filmmaking family was on his TV family as well in Undeclared. And it's fun. It's a fun watch to watch instantly on Netflix. So, as a member, you can watch any of these titles for one low monthly price. There are no late fees or due dates. As a new member and a TRS viewer, you can get a free 30-day trial membership. Go to netflix.com/TRS and sign up.
That's awesome.
Do it.
All right, people, get your backgrounds in. Fans Totally Rad Show. We'll see you tomorrow.
Check us out tomorrow for our review of the premiere of American Horror Story Asylum.
Today's Twitter question sent in with the hashtag TRSQ from Sam Thanothith, who's at Bearford on Twitter, is, what would you put in a time capsule that you think will be worth something in 20 years?
That's a toughie. It has to be something rare.
Yeah.
It can't be like, oh, my old iPod or iPhone, something. There's millions of those in the world.
Yeah, if you look at an old Mac SE.
Yeah, I'd say maybe
anything.
like a barrel of crude oil. It's going away.
We found one barrel.
One barrel of crude oil. Jesus! There's that one crazy rich sheik that wants one barrel.
Gold. I would put gold in that time. It's gonna be worth something.
That's what he's asking. Gold's not a bad choice. I was thinking about gold.
No, it's just something that is common now that you think in 20 years.
But not too common. not overly common.
Yeah, something that is not worth a lot now, but will be worth a lot in hindsight.
Maybe tie.
yes.
Maybe like a tie, because I think those are all gonna go away. You know, because of
Ties?
science fiction movies where there's no ties.
Maybe a remote control.
That's not gonna be worth something. Guys,
Maybe they had an old
something
remote,
collectible.
an old
I guess
TV set.
I guess somebody could be collecting remote controls.
Yeah, I mean,
There's a better answer for this.
Yeah, it's called barrel of crude oil.
Barrel of crude oil.
Maybe one species of something and then just like feed it.
I don't know. I wonder
Some
if
sort of like feeding machine.
a VHS of some movie might. You know,
But then
it's like
nothing
finding a
will
It's not
film.
gonna last. That's not gonna last in the
No,
ground.
well, it's like getting a film, you know, a print of
Yeah.
something that.
Water.
What is
Probably.
the
Water will
declar-
probably be worth a lot after the zombie apocalypse.
Zombies hate water.
They do. They do.
All right.
We're
So,
terrible at answering.
It's a
things.
barrel of crude
Here's
oil.
the thing.
Answer.
Don't go to us for investment advice.